When does the process of making art actually begin? And how long can it take from the initial inspiration, the first spark, to a finished painting? Welcome back to Silver Lining Art. My name is Anish, and today I want to explore the idea, or rather the journey, of an inspiration and all the various forms it can take before it feels like a finally finished piece of art. So, the original inspiration for this painting comes all the way back from 2012, but I remember it like yesterday. I took this photograph of a spotted owlet in Tadoba National Park this warm afternoon, and I remember my joy then. I was really happy with the photograph. I think the photograph objectively is absolutely beautiful. I think the lighting is fantastic, and just the piercing eyes of the owl were extremely powerful for me. And so this was a photograph that has stuck around like with me for a really long time. I keep going back to it and appreciating it. So when I started to learn watercolor painting a few years later, I knew that I wanted to work with this idea of this owl, but also add some kind of magic to it, some kind of flair. And eventually I came up with an idea of mushrooms and owls. I thought that they go well together. Both have a sense of wisdom and an enigma associated with them. So I just took my sketchbook out and made this sketch. And I was initially extremely happy with the way it looked. I loved this. The mushrooms and owls just go well together, and I knew I wanted to work this idea more because there were a few things that I was not happy with in this initial sketch. I think the first thing I wasn't happy with was the mushrooms. The mushrooms, they don't, since I didn't use a reference for the mushrooms, so I had a reference photograph for the owl, but I just drew mushrooms from memory, and it shows. They all look like they're just flying in there or stacked one on top of the other instead of being one behind the other. They don't feel like they share the same space with the owl, and I really wanted to change that. So I studied mushrooms a lot better for the final piece. Another thing I wanted to change was the light, because the painting, the sketch, and the photograph, of course, they're set in daylight, but I wanted this painting to be set during the night time. I thought it would add a nice immersive quality to it. But then I had to decide what kind of light does this painting have now, because it's not daylight anymore. And so I came up with another idea inspired from my past adventures exploring wildlife in India, was that it would be lit like a flashlight. So when we go at night looking for various creatures, birds, like owls, nightjars, deer, I've even seen a leopard once while walking around in forests in India during the night, and we hold our flashlights right next to our heads, and then you can see the eyes shining of all the creatures of the night. So that's how I imagined the painting would be lit as well, as if I'm looking at this owl at night that's sitting in the middle of mushrooms. So I think that final lighting completed the piece and really reminded me of another big aspect of why it is so amazing to make art, why it's so fulfilling, because you can finally put an idea to rest. You can finally give your inspiration a conclusion, and that is a huge reward.